Hello, my name is Tony Pagliocco and I'm running for National President of Omega Delta Phi. This is episode 6 in our video web series. Like every other video, I explain what the series is about. The web series is essentially a way of communicating with the Brotherhood. I expand on my platform in some videos. Sometimes I just talk about things that are going on in the campaign and that are on my mind. And in some videos, I answer questions directly from brothers who have concerns about the future of our fraternity. So tonight, we have 2 questions, but they're from 3 people. So let me explain. Brother Jose Lara and Victor Duran asked pretty much the exact same question. To summarize, the question is, for regional directors, if there is more than one person running for the same region, will you let us have a regional vote rather than appoint someone in your favor? Brother Victor Duran says, how will RDs be picked? How much will the region's input matter? So I'm going to lump that up as one question. In talking about regional directors, I feel that we as an organization, we've grown to a point now where we need to start having more feedback and participation from the active chapters. Regional directors have a very, very difficult job because they're not only responsible to the people in their region, they're also responsible to the national board as well. So they're getting pulled in both directions sometimes, and it can be really stressful. I can only imagine having that sort of responsibility. It sounds, it's difficult. But that's why we're a great organization, because we have people who step up to the plate and accept that challenge. Now, that being said, regional directors to me are very similar to governors. And here's why. The governor is the sort of like the leader of a state or an area where, his constituents are. Regional directors are the same thing. They're responsible and the leaders for their region where their constituents and all the active chapters are. And to sort of draw a correlation, at least from my perspective, is that if the President of the United States was picking every state's governor, there would be a lot that would not be positive. That would not be a good thing. I personally feel that the regions should be voting for their regional directors, and here's why. I'll tell you why. Is that for me to appoint someone, if I'm elected president, and say, this is your regional director, just based off of an interview and maybe some conversations, that doesn't give me a true insight into a person and how they're going to react under pressure, how they're going to form relationships. But if the region is the one doing the electing and saying, here's who we want, here's who we support as our regional director, that's going to build a lot of continuity and build a strong bond within the region to know that they're being represented by someone that they support, that they will can communicate openly with, and who they trust in putting the responsibility of the region in their hands. So I do feel that there should be maybe some sort of check and balance where it's like the regions would elect and then there's like a vetting process afterward, just to make sure that experience and certain things are on the same page, making sure that the elected regional director has the same vision for the roadmap that we have for the future of the fraternity. Now, some of that's logistical, and some of that would, I think that what I would do is that right after the election is that we would just right away strum up a committee to run regional elections and get that ball rolling. Why not just start off by making change right away? That's why we elect people, is to make change. And I feel this is one for the better, and I feel that it's one that would be positive and increase the engagement between the active chapters and the national board. So, that's my thoughts on regional directors. I think the region should have a huge amount of input into who is representing them. And I feel that it's something that we could do. I challenge someone to tell me why we shouldn't do it. I'd love to hear the response to that. So, that's question 1. Question 2 is from Brother Rick Correa. And he asks that, so he says that communication, especially at the RD level, has been lacking since he was active. RDs, with the exception of a few superstars, have always had challenges. What things would you bring from your professional life that would benefit the organization? Again, another good question. So when you're dealing with a set of leaders like regional directors, you have to not only foster communication from the regional director to the national board, but you also have to encourage more conversation and more brainstorming and sharing ideas between all of the regional directors. All of the RDs are one team, and they are going to work better together and be able to have more opportunities if they're communicating with each other and talking about what's going on, what are they working on, what's in the way of them completing, milestones or projects or goals, and having that conversation to be able to figure that all out. Versus getting all the RDs together and having them talk directly to me and being like, well, here's this, and here's this, and here's this. This is very similar to like in software development with teams that we run. My teams at the management level, when we have our daily, roundtable, our daily stand-up, we are in a strictly agile form where the team is self-managing. The team knows what needs to be done, and they just go out there and do it. And they communicate when they're having problems and when something's blocking them. Then it's my job to be able to step in and be like, let me remove these for you so that way you can accomplish what you have to do. I'm going to use the Southwest region as an example, not because it's my region, but because I've been pretty impressed with some of the leadership I've seen there at the RD level, and it's strictly because I've interacted with them a lot. I feel that they have a good sense of that sort of self-managing attitude going on, but at the same time, they have a national interest at heart as well. There's definitely a strong case to be made for where if we increase the ability of communication and increase the opportunities to share ideas and be able to sort of, pull a little bit from each other, we're going to be in a better position to grow our regional directors and grow their skill set, grow their knowledge base, and then the regional director's responsibility is to pass that on to the active chapters so they can follow suit when they graduate and become alumni, and they can say, this is something I want to get involved with. If we're not being positive role models and showing that we have our stuff together at a regional and national level, new graduates are not going to be, they're not going to want to enfranchise themselves to get involved maybe until years later. And that's a very important part of our brotherhood, is not only being strong at the chapter level when you're an active, and not even also being strong at the alumni level, the alumni associate level when you graduate, but also when opportunities present themselves where you can benefit the brotherhood as a whole on a national level. That's a very, very important thing. And some people have the bandwidth to be able to take those opportunities. Some don't. And nothing is wrong with that. The important part is that you give what you can for your brothers. You give what you can for your family. There is not one brother that I would deny something to if I had it. If I had $2 in my pocket and a brother needed it, take it. Because that's what you do for your family. And that's what we do for each other. And we need to look out for each other. We need to be responsible for each other. And we also need to have a core respect for each other, that if you as a brother say you're going to do something, I'm going to assume it's done. Because you're OD5, we're OD5, and we deliver. And that's sort of a strong point in my campaign, is that we need to have that respect, and I wouldn't say less micromanaging, because I'm not sure if there is a lot of micromanaging going on right now, but we need to really just work on that concept of being able to communicate, respect, honesty, and get stuff done. So that's my answer to that. Again, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you want to see our schedule of events, you can go on TonyP2015.com. We have a few more questions for some more future videos that were submitted by brothers, and we'll be producing those and getting them out next week. Seriously, if you care about this election, if you care about our brotherhood, you should have questions. You should have you should want to know certain things about what direction we're heading, and I want those questions, and I'll be honest about them too. The big thing right now is that there's going to be a few questions and some videos coming up that are going to be tough ones to answer because they're straight up real talk, real talk questions, and I don't shy away from those. I welcome them, and I just hope that we continue moving along and keep improving and keep growing and have that just continuous improvement for our brotherhood at all levels. So once again, any questions, TonyP2015.com. Hit me up on Twitter, TonyP2015. Email, cell, I'm here for you. So once again, thank you very much for your time tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and have a great night.